So I found a movie on HBO Max with maybe the best twist ending in crime cinema, and the platform isn't even promoting it. No push, no banner, nothing. Today I'm digging up 10 underrated crime thrillers I love recommending, from a high-energy buddy comedy to a slow-burn mind-bender that sticks with you for days. Okay, let's get into it. First up, I want to talk about a movie that has no business being as fun as it is. This is Ryan Reynolds playing a downgraded protection agent, and Samuel L. Jackson playing the assassin who's tried to kill him 28 separate times. And somehow that's the setup for a buddy comedy. The action itself is honestly kind of generic. Lots of car chases, lots of gunfire, nothing you haven't seen before. But the reason this one works is the chemistry between Reynolds and Jackson. They bicker, they insult each other, and by the end there's this reluctant respect that actually lands. Gary Oldman plays the villain, a Belarusian dictator having a great time chewing scenery, and Salma Hayek plays Jackson's wife, who might honestly be scarier than either of the guys on screen. It's not trying to be smart, it knows exactly what it is, a loud, R-rated action comedy for a Friday night when you don't want to think too hard. If that's what you're in the mood for, this delivers. The movie's called The HITMAN'S Bodyguard, and it's a genuinely fun watch. Now this next one, I love recommending this one because it starts as a cute little board game hangout and then just keeps escalating in ways you don't see coming. Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams play a married couple whose whole relationship is built around competitive game nights with friends. When Bateman's brother invites everyone over for a murder mystery night, it takes a turn nobody expects, and from there, the movie just does not let up. What I love about this one is how well it balances the comedy with actual stakes. You're laughing, but you're also genuinely tense, which is a hard combination to pull off. Jesse Plemons plays a neighbor who's a little too invested in game night, and honestly, he steals every scene he's in without raising his voice once. That's some of the best supporting work I've seen in a comedy in years. Everyone in this movie is hiding something, and the movie plays fair with all of it. If you like clever ensemble comedies with real tension underneath, this is one of the best in the genre. The movie is called Game Night. Don't skip this one. Alright, this next one is a little different. Robert De Niro plays a mob boss hiding out in France with his family under witness protection, and honestly, watching them try to blend into a quiet little village is one of the funnier premises I've seen in a crime comedy. Michelle Pfeiffer plays the wife, and she's fantastic here. This scary, calm energy where you can tell she's one bad interaction away from losing it completely. There's a great little scene where De Niro's character sits down to watch a movie at a local film club, and the movie playing happens to be when he actually starred in decades ago, which is a nice wink if you catch it. I'll be honest, this isn't Luc Besson's best work, and the tone bounces around between comedy and real violence in a way that doesn't always land clean. But if you go in wanting dark comedy with some actual teeth and a family that's somehow more dangerous and hiding than they ever were before, it's a fun watch. The movie is called The Family. Worth checking out if you're in the mood for something lighter with an edge.
No idea what you just walked into.
Now this next one is set in the John Wick universe, except this time the lead is a dancer with a body count. Ana de Armas plays Eve, a young woman trained by the same secretive order of assassins the mainline films have been building out for years, and she's out for revenge against a man who killed her father. I'll be honest with you, the movie takes a little while to find its footing. The early action relies a bit too much on editing instead of just letting the choreography breathe. And if you've seen the mainline Wick films, you'll notice a difference in polish right away. But once it gets going, it really gets going. There's a sequence in a snowed-in restaurant toward the end that's genuinely one of the better action set pieces in the whole franchise, and Keanu Reeves shows up in a way that feels like fan service, but works anyway, mostly because he's clearly having fun being back in the role. The dialogue is pretty cheesy in spots. Some of these lines made me laugh for the wrong reasons, but as a stylish connector film that fills in the gaps between the main movies, it does exactly what it needs to do. The movie's called Ballerina, and if you're a John Wick fan, it's worth your time. Here's a movie with one of the more original premises I've seen in a while. A dad takes his daughter to a pop concert, and unbeknownst to everyone there, the dad is actually a serial killer, and the concert itself, packed wall to wall with security, is a setup by police specifically designed to catch him. That's the whole pitch, and in an era dominated by sequels, reboots, and franchise content, I have to give real credit for something this original. Josh Hartnett plays the dad, and he's genuinely great in the role. There's this unsettling playfulness to how he plays a guy hiding in plain sight, like he's having way too much fun getting away with it right under everyone's nose. Where the movie stumbles a bit is the tension. The premise is a pressure cooker, but the execution doesn't squeeze as tight as it should, and some of his escapes rely a little too much on movie logic to really hold up under scrutiny. It's not a bad watch by any means, it's actually a fun one. It's just more clever in concept than it is in execution. The movie is called Trap, worth it for Hartnett's performance alone. Now, this next one is a total shift in tone, so adjust your expectations accordingly. This is a slow, moody crime drama set in early 80s New York, and Oscar Isaac plays a heating oil businessman trying to keep his company alive while everything — hijackers, a DA investigation, rival competitors circling — works against him all at once. This isn't an action movie, and it's not trying to be one. It's tense in a completely different way. All quiet rooms and hushed conversations about money and respect, with the constant sense that one wrong move ends everything he spent years building. Jessica Chastain plays his wife, and she brings a simmering intensity underneath a calm exterior that's genuinely unsettling to watch. If you like that slow burn, 70s-inspired crime drama style, somewhere in the neighborhood of Scorsese but noticeably more restrained, this is well worth seeking out. It won't grab you right away, it takes its time, but it builds slowly and earns every bit of it by the end. The movie is called A Most Violent Year, and it's one of the more underrated crime dramas of the last decade. This next one genuinely surprised me. Michael Keaton directs and stars as a contract killer who discovers he has a rapidly advancing form of dementia, with only weeks left before his mind is basically gone. That's already a heavy premise on its own, but then his estranged son shows up needing help covering up a crime, and now Keaton's character has to pull off one last meticulous job while his own memory is actively falling apart in real time. He's literally writing himself notes just to keep track of his own plan, which is such a smart, quietly devastating detail. Keaton's performance here is some of the best work of his career. There's real vulnerability underneath the cold, practiced exterior of a career killer, and you feel every second of his time running out right alongside him. Al Pacino shows up in a smaller role, and even with limited screen time, the guy still commands the room. This is a slower film, more of a character study than a traditional thriller, but the emotional weight at the center makes it worth every bit of the patience it asks for. The movie is called KNOX Goes Away, and it's one of the more underrated performances of Keaton's whole career. Hey, quick pause here. If you're enjoying this list and you want more recommendations like it, go ahead and hit subscribe and leave a like on the video. I put these out regularly, so you'll never run out of good stuff to watch. Really do appreciate the support. Okay, let's get into the top 3. Now we're getting into some serious heavy hitter territory. David Cronenberg directs this one, and if you know his work, you know he's not interested in giving you a comfortable watch. Viggo Mortensen plays a quiet, mild-mannered diner owner in small-town Indiana until he stops a robbery in this sudden, shockingly efficient act of violence that makes you wonder how a diner owner knows how to do that. That single moment cracks his whole identity open. Dangerous men from his past start showing up, and his family has to sit with the question of whether the man they've loved for years was ever actually real. This isn't a flashy movie. It's slow and deeply unsettling in a way that gets under your skin, and it's asking real questions about whether violence is something you choose or something that's already in you. Viggo is phenomenal here, quietly terrifying in a way that sneaks up on you. If you want a thriller that stays with you for days afterward, this is it. The movie is called A History of Violence. This next one is Steven Soderbergh doing exactly what Soderbergh does best, an ensemble crime picture with a lot more brains than your average heist movie. Set in 1954 Detroit, it starts with a simple home invasion job that spirals into something much bigger, involving auto executives, mob bosses, and stolen documents, with about half a dozen characters all running their own hidden agenda. Don Cheadle and Benicio del Toro lead an excellent cast, and everyone in this thing is playing an angle, which makes it genuinely fun to watch unravel. Soderbergh shoots the whole thing with these warped fisheye lenses that make everything feel slightly off, which fits a story where nobody trusts anybody. Fair warning, there's a lot going on here. I mean, if you try to track every single detail in real time, you might lose the thread. But if you just let it wash over you scene by scene, it's a sharp, stylish crime picture with something to say about who actually pays for greed. The movie is called No Sudden Move. Man, my top pick, and I mean this sincerely, is one of the best crime thrillers ever made. Full stop. If you've somehow never seen this one, stop the video after this segment and go watch it completely blind, because I'm going to be careful with my words here. 5 criminals get pulled together for a lineup, and from that simple setup spirals one of the most famous, tightly constructed plots in the genre, all framed as one survivor's account to an investigator after a massacre on a dock leaves almost everyone dead. Kevin Spacey plays that survivor, and it's genuinely one of the best performances in crime cinema. Nervous, talkative, self-preserving, and every single word matters more than you realize while you're watching it the first time through. Looming over the whole story is the legend of a criminal mastermind, spoken about with this mythic, almost supernatural dread that the film builds beautifully across its runtime. This is a movie made for rewatching because once you know how it all connects, every scene plays completely differently the second time. The movie is called The Usual Suspects. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Before you go, next up we're heading into space. 12 overlooked sci-fi gems hiding in the void. Go watch that one next. Subscribe, drop a like, and I'll see you there.